In a shocking courtroom moment, Sean "Diddy" Combs erupted in anger as explosive audio recordings surfaced, implicating him alongside high-profile figures Will Smith, Meek Mill, and Bishop T.D. Jakes. The tapes allegedly reveal secret conversations and behind-the-scenes details from some of the most notorious parties in Hollywood's underbelly. Events clouded by allegations of wild drug use, exploitation, and corruption. As the courtroom drama unfolds, the tension is palpable, with Diddy's outburst signaling the immense pressure mounting on those named in the scandal. This unprecedented leak threatens to unravel carefully guarded reputations and expose a dark web of secrets, leaving the public eager for answers and justice in one of the most sensational celebrity controversies in recent memory. Setting the scene: a courtroom charged with tension. As testimony resumes this week, all eyes remain fixed on the courtroom where former aides and insiders are stepping forward to recount harrowing details of the infamous Wild King Nights, exclusive parties hosted by Combs and characterized by excess, secrecy, and alleged exploitation. One former assistant's testimony is set to pull back the curtain even further on the toxic environment fostered by Diddy, a man whose public persona as a charismatic and influential mogul now contrasts starkly with the accusations leveled against him. The atmosphere in court is electric. Whispers of leaked audio recordings involving Combs and other industry heavyweights have stirred a media frenzy. The audio allegedly captures private, intimate moments that blur the lines between friendship, power dynamics, and darker dealings. Among those implicated are names that send shockwaves through the industry: Will Smith, Meek Mill, and even Pastor T.D. Jakes. The very presence of such respected and powerful figures within these allegations deepens the sense of a pervasive culture of secrecy and complicity. The power dynamics of Wild King Nights. At the heart of the trial is an exploration of the dangerous power dynamics that defined Combs's inner circle. These Wild King Nights were not simply lavish parties. Insiders describe them as orchestrated environments where control was wielded ruthlessly. Younger women, many of them vulnerable and impressionable, were drawn into a world where their autonomy was compromised by the machinations of those in power. One of the most chilling aspects revealed in testimony and leaked recordings is the extent to which loyalty and obedience were demanded and enforced. Stories from former aides paint a picture of a man who dictated not only business decisions, but the very appearance and behavior of the women around him. From how they dressed to how they styled their hair, everything was controlled, creating an atmosphere where personal boundaries were constantly violated. Cassie's revelations. From silence to a loud call for justice. The scandal ignited when singer Cassie stepped forward to share her experience, breaking years of silence. Her testimony described a nightmarish reality where she was treated as a mere puppet under Combs's thumb. Cassie spoke candidly about being forced to conform to his exacting standards, whether it was dressing sexy when he wanted or adopting a tomboy look on other occasions. Her fear of blackmail was palpable, as many of the so-called freak-offs were recorded, threatening to expose the women if they dared disobey. Her words struck a chord, opening the floodgates for others to come forward. Former members of Danity Kane, including Don Richard, corroborated her claims, revealing years of abuse, coercion, and intimidation. This collective outcry painted a grim portrait of exploitation, camouflaged by the glamorous veneer of celebrity life. Meek Mill's complicated position, favorite boy toy, or target of a smear? Among the names making headlines is Meek Mill, a rapper whose long-standing association with Combs has come under intense scrutiny. Leaked audio tapes surfaced last year, purportedly capturing intimate conversations between Meek and Diddy. The clips sent shockwaves across social media, with many questioning their authenticity, debating whether the recordings were genuine or sophisticated AI fabrications. Meek himself vehemently denied the allegations, framing the controversy as a racially motivated attempt to tarnish his reputation. His public statements emphasized his resilience and determination to fight back against what he called bots and bad campaigns. However, insiders and fans alike noted a defensiveness that fueled speculation rather than quelling it. The narrative grew more complex as reports emerged of a lavish birthday party hosted by Combs for Meek in Las Vegas. Far from a standard celebration, the event was described as a hedonistic frenzy, featuring matching outfits, scantily clad dancers, drugs, and excess that bordered on debauchery. The aftermath, as described by the property manager, resembled a war zone, littered with blood-stained sheets and discarded personal items, a far cry from an ordinary birthday bash. Rumors persist that tapes from these nights, capturing Meek in compromising situations, may be part of the evidence being reviewed in court. Should such footage come to light, it could irreparably damage his career and tie him even closer to the mounting allegations against Combs. Will Smith, from Hollywood icon to alleged participant, perhaps the most startling aspect of the unfolding scandal is the implication of Will Smith, a figure synonymous with Hollywood success and charisma. Reports have surfaced suggesting Smith was more than a casual attendee at Combs's notorious parties, allegedly engaging in the same freak-offs and drug-fueled excess that defined those nights. Whispers and leaked testimony from Smith's former assistant, Brother Bylaw, allege Smith's involvement extended beyond socializing, hinting at secret relationships and clandestine behavior at the heart of these wild gatherings. These claims, though vehemently denied by Smith and his representatives, have reignited public debate about the pressures and hidden truths within the entertainment elite. Smith's swift legal threats against accusers have done little to calm the storm, instead fueling speculation about the lengths powerful figures will go to protect their reputations. The involvement of his wife, Jada Pinkett Smith, in defending the couple adds another layer of complexity to an already tangled narrative. The cultural reckoning, Hollywood's dark underbelly, exposed. What makes this scandal so explosive goes far beyond the lurid details of wild parties and alleged misconduct. It forces a stark confrontation with the systemic problems deeply embedded within Hollywood's culture. For decades, the entertainment industry has been criticized for enabling a glamorous yet toxic environment where abuse, exploitation, and unchecked power run rampant. Behind the red carpets and flashing cameras lies a shadow world where many feel pressured to stay silent, complicit in preserving the status quo for fear of losing opportunities or facing backlash. This trial, with its high-profile names and bombshell revelations, has become a catalyst for a much-needed reckoning. It exposes how some of the most powerful figures in entertainment have manipulated their influence to shield themselves from consequences. Survivors and whistleblowers are stepping forward, sharing stories that highlight a culture where predatory behavior was normalized or ignored. As a result, public conversations are rapidly shifting. The broader impact, beyond the courtroom. While the court will ultimately decide the legal outcomes for Sean Diddy Combs and others involved, the cultural impact is already reverberating across the entertainment world. Many emerging and established artists are re-evaluating their associations and allegiances. For instance, Justin Bieber has recently taken the highly publicized step of distancing himself from longtime mentors like Usher and Scooter Braun, reflecting a personal reckoning that parallels the wider demand for change within the industry. This move symbolizes a generational shift toward greater accountability and self-awareness, among celebrities who no longer want to be linked to toxic legacies. Furthermore, the scandal has sparked vital conversations around mental health, consent, and the urgent need for safe environments within entertainment spaces. Documentaries, podcasts, and social media movements are amplifying voices that were once marginalized or silenced. These platforms are educating the public, empowering survivors, and encouraging cultural shifts toward transparency and respect. The collective momentum is fostering a new era where exploitation is challenged openly and where reforms are demanded, not just in Hollywood, but across all sectors where power dynamics create opportunities for abuse. The aftermath of accusations, legal threats, and silence. The drama surrounding Sean "Diddy" Combs' explosive trial and the cascade of allegations against some of the biggest names in entertainment and religion didn't just stop with wild parties and leaked audio. It took a fierce turn into the legal arena when Jada Pinkett Smith, wife of Will Smith, threatened to sue Bill Al, a key figure who refused to back down amid the swirling chaos. But what really happened behind these threats? And why did the loud warnings quickly turn into an eerie silence? Bill Al, who has been one of the most vocal voices exposing the murky details of the so-called freak-off parties and the shadowy underbelly of Diddy's circle, did not flinch when Jada's legal team issued their warning. In fact, Bill Al threw down the gauntlet. With a calm yet unwavering tone, he challenged Jada and her representatives to "sue me then." Unlike empty threats often made to scare critics into silence, Bill Al claimed he had receipts, concrete proof that went beyond mere hearsay or rumors circulating on gossip blogs and podcast episodes. He asserted, "You said I extorted you," called it a money shakedown, and threw around a lot of false accusations trying to scare other networks, podcasters, and bloggers from speaking out. Bill explained that his willingness to speak openly had made many in media reluctant to cover the story for fear of legal retaliation. Behind closed doors, the dark world of Diddy's freak-off parties. As the rumors and allegations mounted, insiders painted a vivid picture of what these so-called freak-off parties really were. Far from innocent gatherings or industry mixers, they were described as secretive, almost ritualistic events, drenched in decadence and debauchery. Phones were turned off, cameras confiscated, and security was tighter than the White House on a presidential visit. Attendees were either willing participants in or powerless spectators to what has been called next-level madness. Among the most shocking revelations was the repeated presence of Will Smith at these parties. Despite his repeated denials and carefully crafted public image as the wholesome, fresh prince and devoted family man, reports from multiple insiders suggest he was a frequent figure in this underground scene. The image he sold for years, the good husband, the Hollywood star with a clean conscience, began to show cracks as whispers grew louder. Many wondered why, amid the mounting scandal, Will remained silent, offering nothing beyond a brief denial at his comedy show in San Diego. Was it mere PR damage control, or was there more to his involvement? The controversial role of Bishop T.D. Jakes, man of God or man of secrets? Perhaps the most shocking twist in this saga has been the name of Bishop T.D. Jakes, a revered religious leader known for his powerful sermons and large congregation. His name appearing in lawsuits and allegations rocked many who saw him as a beacon of faith and morality. According to Lil Rod's lawsuit, Diddy allegedly used T.D. Jakes' clean image as a tool to scrub the dirt off his own public reputation after the initial lawsuits and accusations began to surface. But it wasn't just a PR move. Lil Rod claimed that Jakes was not just a distant figure. He was deep in the mix, involved in the freak-off parties themselves. Multiple insiders, including Diddy's former bodyguard Gene D. and outspoken singer Jaguar Wright have corroborated this claim. They alleged that Jakes was well aware of what was going on, that he wasn't simply praying for Diddy from a distance, but allegedly playing with dirty, as they put it. The idea that a man of God could be implicated in these wild, drug-fueled, and morally corrupt parties was hard for many to swallow. What were these parties really like? The truth behind the so-called freak-off parties hosted by Sean Diddy Combs and his inner circle is far from the glitzy, glamorous Hollywood events portrayed in the tabloids or social media. Instead, descriptions from former assistants, insiders, and witnesses paint a dark and disturbing picture of chaos, excess, and moral decay hidden behind locked doors. These parties were reported as secretive and highly controlled environments where attendees were subjected to strict rules. Phones had to be turned off, cameras confiscated, and security was tighter than at a presidential compound. The intent was clear: to ensure total privacy and suppress any possibility of evidence leaking out. Inside these gatherings, the atmosphere was nothing short of hedonistic madness. Drugs such as ketamine, Molly, marijuana, and copious amounts of alcohol flowed freely, fueling a volatile mix of reckless behavior. Women dressed in revealing outfits, some reportedly serving sushi directly off their bodies, while men indulged in illicit activities away from the public eye. The parties were far from innocent social mixers. They were described as wild freak shows where rules of decency were thrown out the window. For those invited, the choice was stark: either fully immerse yourself in the debauchery or remain a passive observer in a world that few could imagine. The darkest allegations: abuse and exploitation. As disturbing as the drug-fueled partying is, the most horrifying allegations involve abuse and exploitation, particularly of minors and vulnerable individuals. I. Carter, one of the alleged victims who has bravely come forward, described a nightmare scenario where underage attendees were used as party favors, a euphemism chilling in its implications. According to Carter, young people, including minors, were literally passed around the room to be used by older men, while others watched without intervening. The image conjured here is of human beings being objectified to the level of inanimate gifts or favors at a celebration, stripped of dignity and protection. One haunting description involves victims being placed on tables like gift bags or party favors at a birthday event. Instead of candy or toys, these gifts were real people, vulnerable, exploited, and preyed upon in an environment dripping with excess and depravity. The mere thought of such exploitation within what was supposed to be a private party space reveals a deep rot beneath the surface and raises urgent questions about accountability and justice. New voices and accusations. The role of Pastor D. Dwayne Youngblood. Adding further gravity to the scandal is the emergence of Pastor D. Dwayne Youngblood, whose allegations against Bishop T.D. Jakes shocked many. Youngblood claims that Jakes, a prominent religious figure, tried to assault him when he was just 18 years old. A claim supported by what Youngblood says are compelling pieces of evidence, including witness testimonies and phone logs. Youngblood recounted an encounter at Jakes' home that began as a seemingly normal meeting but quickly took a dark turn. According to Youngblood, during their conversation, Jakes unexpectedly pulled him into an unwanted embrace and attempted to kiss him. The trauma was so profound that Youngblood has difficulty remembering how he escaped the situation, and the emotional scars continue to affect him. Even more unsettling was a subsequent phone call Youngblood received from Jakes. During the call, Jakes allegedly made explicit demands that Youngblood be the only person he would sleep with when visiting Pittsburgh, forbidding Youngblood from having other relationships, and promising to take care of him for life. This disturbing power dynamic, where a revered religious leader allegedly leverages influence to manipulate a young man, adds a serious dimension to the broader scandal. These revelations sent shockwaves through religious communities and the general public, forcing many to confront uncomfortable questions about abuse and corruption within institutions long viewed as bastions of morality. The silence of the accused and the growing public outcry. In the wake of these explosive allegations, T.D. Jakes attempted to push back with a defamation lawsuit, but rather than quelling the controversy, this move appeared to backfire. Instead of silence or support, the online community erupted with anger and disbelief. Social media users expressed outrage that a man of Jakes' stature could be implicated in such sordid behavior. The digital sphere became a battleground of opinions, with many expressing disgust and disbelief, while others speculated that if the court tapes and leaked evidence were genuine, this scandal could bring down not only Diddy, but also other major players whose names have surfaced, including Meek Mill and Will Smith. The lack of clear denials or transparent statements from these individuals only fueled speculation. As public trust eroded, many felt the weight of a larger systemic issue beneath the headlines and sound bites, the implications, a systemic collapse or guilty by association. The big question hanging over this entire saga is just how far the corruption and complicity go. Is T.D. Jakes truly involved in the sordid details of these parties? Or is he a victim of guilt by association, dragged into the scandal because of his proximity to Diddy and others? Similarly, with Meek Mill and Will Smith's names repeatedly mentioned, how deep are their connections, if any? Denials have been issued, but insiders and leaked materials suggest it is only a matter of time before more receipts, proof in the form of documents, recordings, or credible testimonies, emerge to either corroborate or dispel the rumors. If these allegations hold up, the implications could be staggering: a potential systemic collapse of a network of powerful figures who wield immense influence across entertainment, religion, and business. The fallout yet to come. What began as a courtroom dispute centered on Sean "Diddy" Combs has spiraled into a sprawling scandal that threatens to upend multiple careers, reputations, and institutions. With legal threats unanswered, key figures going silent, and new explosive details continuing to surface, the public remains riveted, watching closely as this tangled web unfolds. Will the courts finally shine a light on what truly went on behind closed doors? Will victims find justice,